I really hate it when Linda and I get into an argument. It sours the whole day. Sometimes we just don't see eye to eye. And I really don't like being micromanaged. I can fend for myself. I don't need her to act as my chaperone or image consultant, getting me to meet the right people. The right people are the ones I choose to associate with. It's none of her business. Okay, I'm just going to make myself angry again if I keep thinking about it. Back to work. I'll meet new people another time. If I don't do something to stop that quack to Juliet, we'll all be sorry. Case number 045, The House at the Crossroads. Preliminary case notes. I heard through the paranormal grapevine about a case Juliet Kepler was taking involving a family of 6 in Lancerville, Iowa. Whenever I hear Juliet is on a case, my stomach turns. She's not a medium with special telephone lines to the great beyond, no matter what she claims in her personal ads. And to think of the number of people she's tricked over the years, it disgusts me. I mean, can we really trust a psychic dressed in Versace and Louis Vuitton? And somehow I'm the unpopular one in the community because I insist on not having quacks like Juliet swindle people. Ugh, sometimes I prefer ghosts to people. Anyway, she's en route to Iowa to see the Benson family. Mother, father, and 4 sons. Now that's a packed house. They recently moved into a large home renovated in the early 1900s by a Dr. Theodore Forrester. Longtime Lancerville residents nicknamed it the House of the Crossroads. I'm not sure why. I haven't found out much about him or the house yet. That'll come in time. But the Bensons are reporting unexplained spiritual manifestations in their home. Visions that only appear when the lights go out. Strange inhuman scrabbling and gurgling in the walls. I hope it's not plumbing again. Although, maybe I could squeeze out another fancy dinner from Jerry if that were the case. Whatever the reasons, if Juliet is heading over there, it means bad news for the Bensons. Long-winded séances while she picks their pockets, charging the earth to so-called cleanse cursed heirlooms that suddenly disappear forever, not to mention her exorbitant consultation fees. If the Bensons weren't in serious trouble before, they are now. Juliet is really going to hate seeing me standing there on their doorstep. Mental note, wear that "Psychics Didn't See Me Coming" t-shirt I have that drives Juliet bonkers, because I'm pretty sure it's the truth in her case. So here I am outside the Benson house. It's quite a looker, kind of Gothic in style. White walls with black trim, a small turret, very striking. It sits on the outskirts of Lancerville, with the nearest neighbor being a mile or 2 away. A large house suited for a large family. But it's not sitting at a crossroads or an intersection. It's out here all by itself, with only one road leading to it. It makes me wonder where the nickname came from. Crossroads in folklore are very fascinating places. Symbolically, they represented places between worlds, a junction point neither here nor there. They were said to be places where the devil could be made to manifest, and where spirits could be contacted, because crossroads were where the spirit world and the real world met. In the UK, there were even traditions of burying criminals or suicides at crossroads, perhaps in an attempt to confuse the spirits, to keep them from rising and returning to the villages. Crossroads represented this pivot point between life and death. I did do some research on the house, though. Dr. Forrester was the town's doctor, coroner, and mortician in the early 20th century. Half of this house was the doctor's office, and the other half was the funeral parlor. Probably why Dr. Forrester built it outside of town. People didn't like it as a reminder of death lingering over Main Street every day. The doctor died in 1952, and it's been a family home ever since. That explains the house's rather eccentric appearance. I wonder if this could have anything to do with... Oh, Lord help us, it's Juliet. And she's wearing her purple suit with a magnolia hat. Her business psychic look. Now that's an ill omen. She looks like a New Age Avon lady on her way to the Kentucky Derby. She's going to rob this family blind. I'm going to leave my recorder on. Might need evidence if she decides to assault me on sight.
Emma, I had a feeling you'd show up.
In that case, your instincts have improved since the last time we crossed swords, Juliet.
I don't need to waste any of my gifts on you. I just noticed how you seem to dog my footsteps no matter where I turn.
It would have been different. Trust me, if that client of yours last year actually decided to press charges.
Simple misunderstanding. The jewelry was returned, wasn't it?
Preying on the scared and lost is an evil way to do business, Julia.
If you don't mind, Emma, I have clients I need to take care of. They need me more than you and your baseless accusations do right now.
Actually, I do mind. I'm joining you.
Over my dead body, you will.
I call it insurance. Insurance for your clients. Or should I let them know about that misadventure you had in Chicago? Remember that, Juliet?
Fine. Just let me do the talking.
Huh. Over your dead body, I will.
Oh,
Beverly Benson, right? Good morning, Mrs. Benson. I'm Juliet Kepler. We spoke on the phone a few days ago about your little pest problem. And don't you fret. I'm here to clean it all up.
Ahem.
Ah, yes. Allow me to introduce my colleague, Emma Emerson. She handles the scientific stuff. Allows me more freedom of mind to probe a room's secrets and divine the source of the trouble. After all, the mysteries of the great beyond lie just on the other side of the thin veil of reality.
Oh, brother.
Well, won't you come inside then?
Ah, yes, this house. You can feel the change, can't you? A darkness, death within these walls. It used to be a funeral parlor, you know. Those who died at the doctor's hands could be easily wheeled into another room to be prepared for burial. Coldly efficient, merciless in its aims.
How do you know all that?
My guess is some quality time down at Town Records. Is there somewhere we can talk?
The front room would be best. This way. What is she doing?
Oh, don't mind her. She's feeling the room, which I guess she takes literally. Hey, Juliet, try not to rub off the wallpaper with your fingertips, okay?
Quiet. I need to concentrate.
Right, you do that. Interview with Beverly Benson about the activity in her home. So, tell me about what's happening here.
Shouldn't Mrs. Kepler be here?
We work in our own ways. She can always listen to my notes if she wants to.
I'm not sure where to begin. This all started so gradually. We moved into this house a couple years ago and everything was fine. He wanted to fix this place up himself. Lifelong dreams of a forever home. There were lots of bedrooms for the boys, with room for an office for me and tons of space in the cellar for the model railroad layout he was working on with the boys. It seemed perfect for us. I mean, look at this place. It has great bones. The front room is perfectly preserved, like it was just renovated by Dr. Forrester. The realtor told us about him since he was such a local character, but there weren't any ill omens about the house. As far as I knew, no one's died in it, but, well...
But things have started happening. Things that make you wonder.
Yes, exactly. You won't believe me. About a couple months ago, things were growing weird. Some of the older residents in Lanterville would stop me whenever I was and ask if we kept the parlor looking nice for our guests, just randomly out of nowhere. People I didn't know. And one day in the grocery store, some old lady who looked like Mrs. Claus came up to me and told me how her husband used to keep our parlor in perfect condition while the house was empty. Keeping the Crossroads tidy, she called it. Said it was our responsibility to do that now. I don't know why, but the way she said it all peaceful and smiling gave me the creeps. People would break into this house to clean and repair this room, but not any other part of the house.
So is this the parlor, where we're sitting?
Yes, I call it the front room because parlor makes me think of a funeral parlor.
And if I may be so bold to ask, but is this the room where you've been witnessing these manifestations?
Yes, they started a couple weeks ago. Tricks of light at first, or seeing something out of the corner of your eye. Little bursts of light after I turn out the main lights in the parlor. But when we turn them back on, everything is normal. No burnout bulbs, no frayed wires. But then, one night, I turned out the lights, and I saw something. A woman's wedding dress floating in the corner of the room. I'd never seen it before. It just hovered there in the dark, glowing from its own feeble light. I turned on the lights again and it vanished, just like that. In the blink of an eye, everything was normal again. I looked at the corner and there was nothing there. No wires, no secret cubbies, just solid walls. Perfectly normal. When I turned out the light again, everything was dark. Normal. Quiet. I think I ran to bed that night.
And did it happen again?
A couple of times, but not the dress. New sights every time. A rocking horse slowly rocking back and forth. A man's top hat that tipped to me. Like these people are invisible and just acknowledging my presence. They weren't dangerous.
But something has changed, hasn't it?
Everything's changed. Things have been hard for Hugh lately. He's not picking up contracting jobs like he used to. Locals seem to withdraw around us. Neighbors stop talking to us. The kids haven't made any new friends. Like there's a curse on this family or something. And then these visions. It's put a lot of strain on us. Getting under our skin. It seems like every little thing we do sets something off. At night I've been hearing these odd sounds. Gurgling, thumping, thrashing sounds. Like someone's drowning inside the walls. It wakes me up at night. But it always stops before I can find out where it's coming from. Hugh says I'm imagining things. He's taken to sleeping in the room that's going to be my office, so we won't wake up each other. But it didn't get really bad until Christopher saw the body.
The body?
It was last week. The boys were watching a movie down here. Hugh and I were going to bed early. It would have been okay. Raleigh and Lennox are far old enough to watch over their brothers. All they needed to do was make sure the lights went out when they were done. Well, they meant well, but they forgot one of the lamps on the round table. Christopher remembered it and went back downstairs to turn it off. It wasn't long afterwards that we heard him screaming.
What happened?
I'm not 100% sure. He was pretty hysterical when we got to him. He managed to tell us he turned out the light and saw something. He said he saw a corpse crouched by the wall near the fireplace. Rotted skin, yellowed bones, scraggly hair. He said he looked like it was trying to claw toward him. Scratches on the walls, empty eye sockets aimed at his face. But by the time Hugh and I got downstairs to him, the lights were on in the room and we saw nothing. No scratches, no body. We tried turning the lights on and off, but nothing materialized. He was pretty much over it by then. He said he was tired of living in a house where he was woken up every night by nonsense, he called it. He didn't want my boys and his boys affected by my delusions, he said. He's been staying at a neighbor's house the past few days. He comes over sometimes to see the kids and work on his railroad.
Oh, I see.
I don't know what else to do. I don't know who to call about this. I found Mrs. Kepler's name in a magazine and I thought it was worth a shot. My family couldn't go on like this. We're falling apart.
We'll figure something out. Do you mind telling me where specifically in this room you saw these manifestations?
The wedding dress was in that far corner on the back wall. The hat was a little to the left of it. The rocking horse was in the opposite corner. And the body was next to the fireplace like I told you.
Solid walls. I don't feel any gaps or cracks. Everything papered in the same textured taupe and gold pinstripe wallpaper. Solid walnut floors. I don't see any trap doors or hinges or wires. Everything feels ship-shape. a normal, everyday room. How odd. Thank you for your information, Mrs. Benson. With your permission, I'd like to speak with your sons. Interview with... Hang on. 1, 2, 3. We're missing one, aren't we?
Sean's... hiding.
Hiding.
Yes, and until we get to know each other better, we'll let him have his privacy, won't we, Miss Emerson? I think that's fair.
Of course, Raleigh. I can speak with him later.
We'll see about that. I don't want my little brother to get freaked out by some of your crazy theories.
Trust me, Raleigh,
Speak to us, spirits. Unburden your secrets. Lift the veil between us.
one of the less crazy ones. Interview with Raleigh Benson, age 19, Lennox Benson, age 17, and Christopher Benson, age 13, residents of the house. Just tell me about your experiences in your own words. Take your time.
Well, Chris, go on. Tell her what happened.
We were watching a movie downstairs in the front room. We were supposed to make sure all the lights were turned off. Dad, he didn't like us wasting power. If we accidentally left things on, he got pretty mad about it. Well, I just got into bed, and when I remembered the small lamp on the round table, we left it on. So, I went downstairs quickly before Mom and Dad found out. Everything was normal until I turned out the light.
What happened when the lights went out?
There was this blue light glowing just out of the corner of my eye, near the fireplace. I saw this woman. She was in this moldy red dress. She was like one of those, mummies you see in old tombs, only way worse. Bugs crawling all over her face, and she was looking at me, crawling towards me, her hand curled into a claw to swipe at my face. I don't remember when I started screaming, but when I started, I couldn't stop.
Lennox heard him first. His room is closest to the stairs. Mine's across from his, so he got down to Chris before I did. Well, Lennox, you've been pretty quiet, which is completely unlike you. Tell her what you saw.
Man, come on. It's not funny. I'm never gonna get that picture out of my head if I keep reliving it. She wasn't exactly the girl of my dreams. Definitely of my worst nightmares, though.
The sooner you tell her, the sooner we'll get this over with and they can leave.
I nearly tripped on the stairs racing towards Chris. Everything was still dark. I found him cowering by the door to the front room. His eyes were huge. I followed them and I saw her too. She was awful. Yellow bones peeping through torn open flesh, stringy hair, leaning towards us like she was going to pounce, rat skeletons crawling all over her. Look, I've seen a lot of horror movies, but those special effects have got nothing compared to this lady. She was real, rotten flesh and all. I thought I'd go hysterical, but the scream just couldn't escape my mouth. I just stood there, waiting for her to strike, like a deer in headlights.
I was only a moment or two behind Lennox. He was standing there, dumbstruck, staring at her. Chris was having a meltdown. I caught a glimpse of her. She was there all right. But I ran to the light switch instead of getting a good look at her. When the lights came on, she disappeared, just poof, gone, in the blink of an eye. I turned them off again, but nothing happened. Everything was dark, normal, except for Chris screaming his head off.
She was real! She was horrible! And she was coming towards me! She looked at me, Miss Emerson! She stared me right in the face! I keep seeing her when I close my eyes to go to sleep!
Mom and Dad came downstairs not long afterwards. Then, things got ugly. Dad kind of blew up at Mom and stormed out. Chris didn't want to sleep alone. He kept saying she was going to get him. The whole thing felt like it took hours, but it was only 5 minutes or so. Chris stayed in my room that night.
There's something missing. Your youngest brother, Sean, where was he when this happened?
Oh, he was... Well, he was...
Sleeping!
Yes, Sean was asleep. He's a heavy sleeper. Always has been. So, he doesn't know anything about that night. There's no need to question him.
Well, thank you for your help, boys. I think I have what I need now.
You're not going to bother Sean, are you? He doesn't know anything. I told you that.
Yes, of course. I remember. Don't worry. I'll behave myself. Mental note. Do some research on the prominence of attics and cellars in paranormal sightings. Might be some good data for a paper I can submit to Hauntings Quarterly. In the meantime, I'm standing at the head of the stairs to the cellar in the Benson home. I searched the rest of the house, but nothing super relevant emerged. I'm hoping the cellar can yield some answers. Impressive. Beverly told me about the model railroad layout down here, but I didn't realize it was so big. Apparently, Hugh and his sons have been working together on it for 5 years. And when they moved, they brought it over to the new house piece by piece. For a miniature world, it's huge. The little businesses and highways, farm, a vineyard, a mountain campsite, a harbor, a lumber yard, a steel mill, a coal works, a roadhouse, lakes, rivers, waterfalls, all made by the Bensons. There's even a little Bigfoot in the trees. How cute. Beverly Benson mentioned how Hugh only works on the layout alone these days. That doesn't bode well. Did I just hear something? It came from under the layout. Oh, hello. What do we have here? You must be Sean Benson. I'm Emma. Nice to finally meet you.
What do you want?
We can just talk. I'm here helping your mom figure out what's happening here.
I'm not supposed to talk to you. Dad told me I shouldn't. Rolly would be mad too.
That's fair. I wouldn't want to upset them. It's an impressive model you all built. It must have taken ages. Really quality work. What part did you work on?
Painting mostly. I painted the mountain rocks.
And you did a great job. Very realistic. I like how the gray blends with the tans and browns. Your dad must have been very proud of the work you did.
He doesn't let us work down here much anymore.
Well, I'm sure once we straighten everything out and things get back to normal, he'll be sure to have his #1 painter back on the job. He'd be crazy not to.
I don't think things are going to be normal ever again.
Oh? How come?
Things are different in this house.
Moving to a new house is a huge change. New school, new friends. It can take some time to adjust.
I think I've made everything worse.
How so?
A few weeks ago, I found a door down there. A small door hidden behind a bookcase. I pushed the bookcase out of the way and opened the door. It was dark inside and smelled old and stale, like nothing has lived down in there forever. It was a little passageway all made of wood. I put my hand inside and I found a light switch. It didn't really help a whole lot. It was still pretty dark, and something was down there that smelled terrible. At first, I was just going to close the door and ignore it. Then I heard Raleigh coming down the stairs, looking for me. Well, I kind of wanted to be alone, so I crawled through the door. Shouldn't have done that.
Well, what happened?
It was dark and cramped. I couldn't see anything clearly. But sometimes I just saw weird lights hovering just out of sight. Other times I saw weird-looking stuff like toys, clothes floating around in the darkness. The smell was getting stronger, nastier. I started to get pretty scared. I didn't know where I was. I could hear Raleigh's voice growing fainter. I was lost. The weird blue lights were flickering, making me dizzy and sick. I heard these strange noises, clanking, gurgling, shuffling, and then I saw her. This woman, crouched on the ground in an old red dress. Dead rats were all over her body. I thought she turned to look at me. That's all I can remember. Everything went dark. I thought maybe she went inside me, like she's trying to talk to me, to talk through me. I think she did something to me. There are times where I can't remember. I'd be in one room, and then I'd wake up in my bed. I don't know what's happening. Things are getting worse. My family keeps seeing things appear and disappear. Chris told me he saw the woman in red. I think I let them out.
Sean, there you are. What have I told you about staying in your room? I've been looking for you all over. Get upstairs.
Please make her stop. Please make her go away.
Sean, scoot! And you. I thought I told you to leave Sean alone. I want you and your weird friend out of this house now.
You feel very protective of your brothers, don't you?
I don't need you to psychoanalyze me. Take that quack who keeps rubbing the wallpaper and get out. I won't have you hurting Sean anymore.
but your interest is mainly focused on your youngest brother. Tell me, did you find him in that passageway and pull him out? Were you the one who put him into his bed? Did you tell him to keep it a secret?
Get out, or I'll throw you out.
Let me set the record straight. I'm not here in the hopes of finding a ghost. I'm here because there's a very unscrupulous woman in this house who preys on the desperate and frightened, who will do whatever she can to ruin your family and take every last penny she can squeeze out of you. She will string this out for as long as she can. Weekly seances, purity rituals, cleansing, all at prices you will never be able to afford. She'll destroy you with a smile on her face. Unless I can figure out what's happening here, your family is in danger. You've been trying to step into your father's shoes lately, and I can see how scared you are that they don't quite fit, and you don't know what to do to help your family anymore.
This isn't fair. What did we do wrong? Why is this happening? Why are Mom and Dad fighting all the time? Is it something we did? What can I do?
There are a couple of leads I'm going to check into. I'll need to go into Lancerville for a bit, but I intend to return. But there's no guarantee that Juliet won't attempt something while I'm away. I have some equipment in my car that you can use. I need eyes and ears on the inside, especially if Juliet is up to any of her tricks. I need your help, Robin. Right. Quick progress report. Back in the cellar of the Benson home. Lancerville wasn't exactly a windfall, but I got some information from the older residents. Dr. Forrester and his wife, Sabrina, the original owners of this house, were local celebrities and an institution in Lancerville. They claimed to be mediums themselves, who could form a bridge between this world and the world beyond. And since their house and their work as doctors and morticians served as the crossroads of life and death, they could bring forth spirits to comfort the grieving, hence the house at the crossroads. But what I find most interesting, and even charming, is that the Forresters never charged anyone for their psychic services. This house served to comfort those who had issues letting go of the departed, who were in deep distress by the finality of death, who felt alone and severed from their loved ones. The Forresters held seances to bring to the grieving visions of their lost loved ones. Older residents remembered seeing these visions and feeling joy, knowing the people they loved best were at peace. It was a grief counseling service in the early 20th century with a spiritualist twist. Rather sweet if you think about it. The Forresters never swindled anyone or asked them for money. As such, the community loved them and kept their parlor, the place where the seances were held, in tip-top shape over the years, saying it was a sign of respect to keep the crossroads ready to receive any guests. Well, Dr. Forrester died suddenly of a heart attack, and his wife disappeared. Local legends say they were both ferried through the veil into paradise as a reward for all the good work they did. I think that Vincent may have tapped into something they shouldn't have. And the first place I'm going to investigate is here in their cellar. What on earth? It's locked. Hey! Help! I'm locked in!
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just dealing with a little pest problem.
Juliet, you let me out of here this instant.
No, sorry. A little instinct tells me you're trying to screw with my commission, and I much prefer picturing you rotting to death in this moldy cellar for the rest of your short, miserable life. Have fun with the rats, Emma. Finally something you can relate to on an intellectual level. See you on the other side.
Juliet, let me out of here! Juliet! Oh.
Keep calm, Emma. If you lose your temper, you won't think clearly. Focus. You can bury Juliet alive later. There must be a way out of this. Why couldn't they hear me yelling? Unless the cellar is soundproof. But why? bookcase. I found a door down here. A small door behind the bookcase. Oh man, it smells like no one has aired out this passage in centuries. Where's the light switch? Ah, here it is. Geez, it really doesn't help with the lighting down here. Here goes nothing. Mental note: kill Juliet for getting me into this. And I thought Thorndike House was a tight squeeze. I'm crawling in here. I see lights. Faint blue lights. They're swirling and blinking in the void. It's like absolute oblivion in here. A place of nothingness. In a crossroads between life and death. Where does this lead? Was that a wedding dress? A rocking horse floating over my head. Where am I? These sounds, grinding, chugging, churning, gurgling. What is this place? What is that terrible smell? Is that a woman in red? Oh God, there are bugs crawling all over me, all over the walls, all over the woman in red. Oh God, she's real!
I wonder if I can get Mom and Dad to buy me one of these recorders for Christmas. It's pretty cool. Anyways, that psycho Juliet is trying to make us do some kind of séance in the front room. Mom must be out of her mind to work with this lady. Miss Emerson says she's dangerous, though. Might be good to have this on in case she tries anything funny. Especially with my brothers.
Raleigh, honey. We're about to start.
We must be quick. Spirits are fickle. They will only approach if we are all open to receiving their energies.
Oh, brother.
We need to work as efficiently as possible. We'll sit at this round table. Boys, take the seats on the edge, closest to the door. Your mother and I will sit on the fireplace side. I need to be in a central position to focus my energies.
Where's Miss Emerson?
Out. Now be quick about it. Sit down. The spirits in this house are restless. There's an angry, roiling energy in these walls. Anger, distrust, fear. The people who died in the doctor's surgery are vengeful. They are growing stronger, feeding off you.
What do they want?
Spirits this angry usually just want to destroy. When they see happiness, they crave to destroy it. When they see a family living in front of them, they wish to throttle the happiness right out of the family. Sow seeds of discord, brew hatred, splinter the family to make them easy enough to feed off of.
Feed off us?
Until there's nothing happy or light inside you. Until you're a wasted husk just like they are, empty, without joy or purpose.
What do we do?
Sit, hands relaxed on the table, keep your minds clear, turn out the lights.
No!
Don't fight me. This is the only way to keep you safe. I need to reach out to them, to persuade them to leave. It'll be easier in the dark. Lights out, now. This will not be easy. They've taken root here. It'll be like uprooting an old-growth oak. Deep branching roots touching every part of this house. A net of strangling vines choking the walls. They will not like you all being together. They're stronger as a unit. They will seek to divide us, to prey on the young and the weak of mind.
Mom, I don't like this.
Shh, it'll be okay, sweetie. Just keep calm. We're together so nothing will hurt you. Try and tune it out.
We must have silence. I need to seek them out.
Give me a break. This is stupid.
Shades this persistent and angry are like predators in the wild. They will seek the young and the sick and the vulnerable and devour them alive before the eyes of their family. They would not hesitate to obliterate your brothers right in front of you, Raleigh.
What did you say?
They're coming.
Mom, I really hate this. Please, can I go?
No one leaves. It'll weaken the circle. It'll make you easier to snatch. Focus. Keep your mind clear. There's a circle of light that surrounds us. They will not touch us if we keep together.
Raleigh, do something. You're the oldest. Stop pulling the big brother card on me, Lennox. I'm starting to hate it.
I will have to let one in. There's a woman in red. She wants to speak to us.
No. Please, no. Please, not her.
Speak with us. We are listening. We are open to receive you.
I see something. A rocking horse? Why is it moving on its own?
A wedding dress. Oh Lord, I knew it was real. What's happening?
I am your vessel. Enter and speak through me.
Sean, what happened?
My baby!
Mom, make it stop.
It's the woman in red. She chose Sean as her vessel.
Turn on the lights.
Sean!
Don't touch him. You'll hurt him even more. Don't fight her, Sean. Let her through.
Are you insane? My brother needs help.
If you touch him, she'll destroy him. He has to fight her.
You're crazy. It's not stopping. He cut himself on the broken chair. He's bleeding. Mom, Sean's turning blue.
We have to do something.
You spiteful, evil witch! How could you lock me in the cellar?
Hey, Emma! How did you get here?
Sean can't breathe. What do we do?
The spirit is fighting him. We have to.
Out of my way, you ninny. It's not a spirit, it's a seizure. I need to get his tongue out of the way before he chokes on it. Keep him steady. Raleigh, grab that throw pillow. Lennox, call the doctor, now. Beverly, look after Chris. He's nearly hysterical. Sean's calming down now. There we go. Breathe. Easy does it. You're okay. Raleigh, get me a watch. I want to check his pulse. It's okay, Sean. Keep breathing slowly. Doctor will be here soon. In and out, all right? Beverly, keep an eye on him for a moment. Keep his breathing nice and steady and don't spook him. Raleigh, a word, please. You knew about Sean's seizures, didn't you? That's why you were so protective. The night Chris saw the woman in red, you were actually in Sean's room, helping him recover from one of them. That's why you didn't arrive at the parlor until after Lennox, even though your rooms are both at the head of the stairs.
They were never this big before. Honest, I thought I could take care of it. I didn't want to stress Mom and Dad out. Things were so bad here. I didn't want to add more stress. I thought he'd be okay until I got a job and I can get him checked out by a doctor. I didn't want to make things worse. I wasn't trying to hurt him. He's my brother.
Okay. Breathe. Sean's going to be all right now. But when the doctor arrives, you will tell him every instance of his seizures, no matter how big or small they are. And you'll tell your parents. Do you understand me?
Yes, ma'am.
Good.
And you, Kepler, you trashy, phony, wannabe psychic, you evil, selfish, deluded, predatory, spiteful little...
Diagnosis is in. Epilepsy. Just what I suspected. All the spectral lights in Dr. Forrester's magic trick triggered Sean's undiagnosed epilepsy, culminating in the huge epileptic seizure he had during Juliet's ridiculous séance. The poor boy almost choked to death on his own tongue, while that insane woman kept trying to say he was possessed by Casper or whatever her story was. My God, she could have killed him. I will personally make sure Juliet Kepler never speaks to another family again. Sean's doing much better, though. He's on his medication, and the family is going through learning how to handle seizures in the future, should they arise. The experience, while traumatizing, has helped them come back together as a family. I had a long talk with Hugh about the house and the things that happened. He adores his sons, but working on the layout with them was painful while he had problems with his wife. He was frantic when he learned about Sean. The family wasn't great at communicating with each other. Strange, unexplained things were happening to them, and they couldn't communicate through the tension. So it all piled up. But with the facts laid bare, I hope they'll be able to pick up the pieces, grow, and move on. They were a family at the Crossroads. Maybe now they can live their lives in peace again. And all this started because Sean innocently restarted an old magic trick. Nothing malicious in any of their intents. When Sean opened that door in the cellar, he found Dr. Forrester's backstage access to the sets that Forrester designed to create his spiritual visions. The switches Sean found turned on the effects, and the hauntings began. The parlor is a rather genius mechanical device. The whole room is one large conjuring machine with simple theatrical effects. Those oh-so-solid walls, not so solid as we thought. In certain places, the walls are actually full-sized panes of glass, and over the glass was a taut piece of scrim fabric, painted to look like the wallpaper. I mean, scrim is an amazing textile. When lit from the front, it appears solid, but when lit from behind, with the room in front darkened, scrim turns nearly transparent, meaning you can look right through it. So you could paint scrim to look like a solid wall, turn out the lights, turn on a light behind the scrim, and see right through walls. That's the core of the doctor's magic trick. Behind these scrim and glass setups were little shadow boxes painted in solid black, filled with mechanized props and lights. Here's how it worked. Dr. Forrester would begin his séance in the parlor. The parlor looked like an ordinary, solidly built room. The lights were extinguished, and using pressurized switches in the round table, the doctor could control which shadow box would light next. A faint blue light would glow in the box, lighting the scene inside it. Because the parlor was dark, the scrim would turn invisible, and guests would see through it and the glass to the scene inside the box. Say there was a family grieving over a lost child. Dr. Forrester would show them a mechanized ghostly rocking horse, a little ghost child playing happily, a lost wife or bride, the floating wedding dress, happy, friendly images of invisible people in cheerful moments. When the lights returned to the parlor, the lights in the shadow box would go out, making the scenes invisible again. The scrim, now lit from the front, would look like the solid wall again. And when you touched the wall, you felt the solid glass behind it, strengthening the illusion of normal walls. Genius. Just genius. But there was one last tragic trick that accounted for much of the suffering of the Bensons. Poor Sabrina. She would often help the doctor by playing the part of lost souls in costume and makeup. She had her own little shadow box in the wall next to the fireplace. There, she would be a more animated figure for audiences to witness. No wires or trapdoors needed. No wonder people still believe in the ghostly powers of that house. The illusions were legendary. But when Dr. Forrester had his sudden heart attack and died, it meant he couldn't help his wife out of the walls. So she was trapped. The soundproofing throughout the house, to hide the sounds of the doctor's machinery, muted her screams. The scratch marks on the walls where she tried to claw her way out, the position of her body when she weakened, unable to find air, the state of her decay. She was real, all right. A real corpse, long sealed up in the walls of the house. I will never forget that image of seeing her body crouched against the glass. I had to break the glass to escape the shadow box. She tumbled out into the parlor with me, like the stuff of nightmares. Sabrina is now buried alongside her husband in the town cemetery. May she finally rest in peace. The Bensons went through a lot these past weeks. Touching that round table in the parlor unleashed many a manifestation through those hidden switches. The sounds of thrashing they heard were Sean's seizures, kept hidden by Raleigh. And then the sight of a poor woman's last resting place in the walls of her home. It's a wonder they managed to pull through it. I'm not sure I could have. I was this close to committing a major felony in that house. Juliet is so lucky that there were witnesses present. The witch. I let Juliet have it, though. I made sure everyone in the community knew about her antics that day. What a disastrous case. Part of me wishes I could see her locked up for good. But she didn't do anything illegal. She didn't even take their money. Juliet just disappeared into the void that spawned her. Ugh. If I ever cross swords with that woman again, I'm sending her to jail. Mental note. Schedule cuddle time with Samhain. I need it after this case. And buy Raleigh one of my recorders for Christmas. He seemed to like playing with it. Case number 045. Closed. Results? Non-paranormal activity. I need to find a way we can ban Juliet from ever taking clients again. If only paranormal investigation worked like lawyers, I could have her disbarred. Imagine that, a disbarred medium. Maybe I could talk to Linda about that. She is my legal expert. When she finishes her latest trial, I'll broach the subject to her. She might know what I could do to get Kepler off the streets for good. And a further mental note. Learn to pick locks. No one is going to lock me in a room against my will ever again. Every instinct I have says I should break a window and get out. But something deeper tells me they've planned for that. Maybe booby traps. Oh God. What do I do?